All right, on tonight's episode of Python Papi, we're back inside our generative AI course, and we're still building our medical chatbot. Let's have a look at what we went over tonight. Now, yesterday, I did inform you that we were ready to start our front end portion of the medical chatbot, but I wanted to start running the back end to make sure everything was working perfectly fine. Let's have a look at what's going on tonight. So I know you can see off the back we did run into an error, but besides that, we did get pretty far for the first time, which I'm surprised at. So let's go over exactly what's going on here. As you can see, I started from the top and we started with our pip installs. We installed everything. Everything went good. Then we started with our imports. Everything went good there. As you can see, we have a different Pinecone API key. I had to change that around, configure it. This Pinecone API environment, I probably won't even need anymore because it's serverless, so I won't need this. I'll explain that when we get there. Then we loaded our data good. We extracted it good. As you can see, I used the data extraction right here. I coded to make sure all of our data came through. The entire book came through. As you can see, it's a 650-page book, so it looks like the whole thing came through. Yeah, so we had that. Everything was working fine. It's just that when we got to certain parts, it started to give us hiccups. Let's have a look at what's going on. Then we got the text or the defined text splitter that went through good. Text chunks went through good. Length of chunks went through good. You can see here we have 7,020. So I'm assuming we have 7,020 chunks or 7,020 500 pieces of information. Then we did our embeddings that came through good with the Huggy Face. Downloaded it, that came through good. Like I said, we got pretty far for the first run. So I'm pretty shocked at that. So it's not till we got here to the actual Pinecone when we started running the issues. Now this isn't the initial version that we had of Pinecone. As you can see, it is slightly different. That's because the version that we had got with the instructor was deprecated, meaning it was out of date, so it no longer worked. Let me see if I can show you what it originally looked like. So this is what it initially looked like when we took the notes in class. So you had the pinecone.init, and we're saying that the init was no longer a viable source or a viable piece of code, so we had to configure it differently. That's why we have a class now instead of the init, because the init was deprecated. So you can see we have the PC equals pinecone. So we finally got that down. It took a few times because I had to add a different import for the Pinecone. So it took about 3-4 times before we actually got past this part. We finally got past this part, and now we're running into a problem here with the doc search equals Pinecone. Well, not so much the doc search because it's variable, but the Pinecone dot from text is saying the same thing here. If you can see, I can move now. The from text is not a top level attribute of the Pinecone class provided by Pinecone's official Python package developed at this website here. You may have a name collision with an export, so on and so forth. And I've been letting this chat GPT run for about a good 15-20 minutes now. Nothing popped up, so it looks like we're on our own with this one. But again, I'm not too discouraged because, like I said, we got pretty far. As you can see, we're at the end. So we only have a few more cells to run. So you can see here after we get the Pinecone down package, is basically calling our queries and getting the answers. And the reason that the Pinecone is so instrumental into our chatbot is because that's why information is stored. So when we make a query, we're going to actually search the Pinecone because that's why I make the database where all our information is stored. So we have to actually search the Pinecone database to get the to pass the queries to get the information and send it back to our users or the user who made the query in the first place. So yeah, but like I said though, yeah, as you can see, we got pretty far for the first go round. Like I wasn't even expecting to get that far. I thought there was going to be a lot more hiccups, but it is a headache. Don't get it twisted. It is a headache, but we got a lot further than I expected. All of this stuff went through. As you can see, we have a difference. So initially, we just had the Pinecone equal the which we call the Pinecone API key. We just had the Pinecone API key equal the number here, but you see, we had to switch it around to the os.environ Pinecone API key just to get it working. So we did that. We got it out the way. And like I said, we extracted our data successfully. The data is fine. Everything came through. I figured out how to bring our medical PDF over to the Google Colab, so that's working perfectly fine. Like I said, we got pretty far. Everything is working good as it should. Our models got downloaded. Our embeddings got downloaded. Everything was working fine until we got into the Pinecone. And I would bypass it to try to see if we can actually have the model run without the Pinecone. But like I said, the Pinecone is actually the database where all our information is stored. So it is instrumental in running the chatbot because that's what information is going to be stored. Or that's how we have our model configured. So yeah, we would be calling or having trying to get access to the Pinecone database because that's what information is at. But yeah, so like I said, we're gonna keep moving forward and seeing exactly what we can do to rectify the situation. We're on our own. Like I said, it looks like with the chat GPT is still thinking. After 20, 25 minutes, it's still thinking. So yeah, that seemed like it's going to be a no-go for that one. So we're just going to have to dive into it ourselves and see exactly what's going on and what we can do to get this workaround. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with the model. Everything's working perfectly fine as it should. It's just we have an issue with deprecation, meaning we're running old pieces of code, and then we have to find out the new updated versions to make things move smoother. But of course, I will keep you posted every step of the way. For now, this is the Python Papi. You guys stay Gucci.